What is going on, everyone? It's your boy ACK here. We're just doing interviews. We're almost at 30 episodes, and I just can't believe that I'm already at 30 episodes. And this is just, it's getting crazy because I've met so many amazing, talented artists out there. And I'm so thankful for all the artists that have taken their time to do this interview. And because it my goal is to help artists get more exposure at the end of the day, but they're also helping me build my platform with this series. So I just shout out real quick to all those artists. Just thank you everyone that's supported the series so far. And today, honestly, I'm not biased. I'm not trying to do anything, but this might be one of my more favorite interviews with one of my favorite artists that I've met so far. And she's originally from Massachusetts. That's where I'm from. Obviously, a lot of people know that, but she's residing down in North Carolina right now. And it is Maggie B. Maggie, how are you today?
What's up? I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
And not too bad. It's actually a beautiful day here for October. It's like 70 degrees. So like I don't really know what's going on, but the way the last couple of years have went, nothing really surprises me at this point.
Polar bears, global warming.
No, exactly. Like, I mean, 71 degrees in October. It's still it every time I say it, it still doesn't process in my head, but somehow it's 71 degrees in October. But
You're gonna jinx the snow right now. Knock on
no,
wood.
exactly. I mean, from what I've heard, I mean, I'm not trying to jinx anything, but we're supposed to be getting a lot of snow this year, from what I've heard. But that's beside the point. Let's enjoy the weather. Let's enjoy this interview. Kind of before I hop into all the questions and stuff, why don't you just let the people know a little bit about who you are as a person and kind of just like a little bit about who you are as an artist?
Okay. My name is Maggie. I go by Maggie B. I got that nickname in middle school. And I just sing and play guitar and travel with my dog. And when the pandemic hit, I was in a recording contract in Los Angeles, but I've been out of it since January. So I've just been doing everything independently and really just organically. And it's the best process for me right now.
No, that's awesome. And I mean, if that's what's good for you right now, and you know that's what's good for you, then that's like the only thing that matters at the moment. Um, I do have to ask because you did bring it up. What kind of dog do you have? I do have to ask because I have a Beagle Basset Hound for people that do not know. She's 14 years old. I love the dog so much. She's actually completely deaf now, but she's I love her so much. But I do have to ask what kind of dog you have.
I wish I could show you. He's at daycare, but he's a border collie pit bull mix,
Oh, okay.
and he's the sweetest thing ever. His name is Jax.
Okay. Yeah,
Uh,
my dog's name is Gracie. She, like I said, she's a Beagle Basset Hound. I love her so much. But I'm a huge dog person. So whenever anyone brings that up, I always have to ask.
right? Or like pet the dog when it's walking down the street. Yeah.
Exactly. If there's a dog walking down the street, I'm gonna pet it. Like there's nothing like I can't control that. Like that's just it's pure instinct.
Impulse. Yeah, you have to.
No, that's literally exactly what it is. Um, so kind of getting into the first question is I always start with the basic of basics. Everyone knows that. Is where did music all start for you? Like was it at an early age? Like when did you start singing, kind of playing the guitar, and just how did everything kind of come about that you wanted to really pursue music?
Okay, so I think singing was just like always. My stepdad, who's like my dad, he has been around my whole life and he's been in high school bands, like, or since he was in high school, he was in bands. And so growing up, I was like 5 years old, going to all of his band practices till like 1 in the morning, going to all of his gigs, and just like I was mesmerized by it, just like was in love with it. And he taught me how to play guitar when I was 6 or 7. And so he just throw me up on stage at gigs and just be like, hey, go do it, go do it. And then he helped me write my first song when I was like 9 years old. And I had the most amazing elementary school music teacher. So he came when I was in like first grade, and he kind of just like pushed me to sing because I have such bad stage fright.
Mhm.
And so I was like 6 years old, and he like made me go up and sing in front of everybody. And he just, pushed me to just keep going and not be scared and to have fun with it. And I've just been in love with it since. So probably like, yeah, 6 for the guitar and then just like forever with the music.
No, I mean that's awesome because like some people, I mean it's crazy with the last year and stuff like that because some people start out so young, but then some people just start out. Like, I mean, I always tell people, a lot of people know my story, but then for some that don't, is I don't sing. If I start singing, glass is gonna start breaking, and I'm not cleaning any of that up. But like, I only started songwriting and producing and making beats and stuff in like 3 years ago, back in 2018. That's like when I really, really started it. I mean, before I was kind of writing and I didn't really think anything of it years before that, but like only 3 years ago is when I really only started. So it's just cool to kind of see how some people start so young, but then some people that just come out and just started only a couple of years ago. And kind of like you said too, I mean, I'm a shy person, and like the stage fright thing for you is definitely like, it's a big thing for me, because like I was always scared to like really put my music out there because I'm self-conscious, and I'm like, I don't know what people are going to think. Like, people are going to hate this, or people going to love it, and like I don't know. So I like definitely relate to the whole stage fright thing with you.
Yeah, you, I don't know why we're so focused on like other people's opinions, and then it just gets in our head.
No, exactly. And I mean, it's just, it's crazy, but like, it's just, it's always so cool to, I know it's always a basic question to ask how you started in music, but it's just cool to kind of see people's different aspects on how they started. Because this music is such a powerful thing. Like, it just, it can help so many people. It can just, it can lift you up, and like, it can just, it helps a lot. And it's, music's always been there for me. So that's why I have such a strong love for music. So kind of getting into the second question, I feel like I might already know like maybe one of the answers, give or take, because you kind of like just talked about your stepdad and how he kind of really like helped you through music and like really kind of pushed you to get through stuff. But so like inspiration wise, like who are some of your inspirations, like even just in the music business in general? And like, would you say like kind of like your stepdad like really kind of inspired you and kind of helped you out to really get into music? Like, just who are some of your inspirations that you look up to?
Yeah, so definitely him and definitely my music teacher. They were like the pushers. But I really like I grew up on the Beatles, and they're just like my favorite band of all time. They kind of like inspired me guitar wise and like with songwriting, because like I would literally just get in the car. Every road trip, every car trip with my family was the Beatles or Sublime. And so those two definitely, Queen, Russ,
Okay.
one of my favorites, Lauren Hill. She got me into R&B. So like now I kind of have warped into sort of R&B pop because of Lauren Hill.
Okay.
And yeah, all of those have been such an influence just on like I just watch their interviews and how they sing live and everything, and just like
No, that's awesome. And
yeah.
like, yeah, no, and like I just, inspirations are just so cool, because like I look up to a lot of artists as well. And like my parents have always been big inspirations for me and stuff like that. But then just like I always reminisce on, I'm a country guy at heart. I love all music, but country is just that 90s, early 2000s country for me is just what was always playing in the house. And the storytelling aspect that they had back in the day, like, it is country sort of kind of getting back to that now. I'm not going to go too much in depth with that because we'll be here all day. But just like Travis Tritt and George Jones, George Strait and Garth Brooks, just to name a few, like just their storytelling like through lyrics and stuff like that, that's what really inspires me the most. Garth Brooks, definitely one of my all-time favorites. But then also like kind of going into like the rock aspect for me a little bit is just Chris Daughtry. He's my all-time favorite artist easily. Just his vocals and just his songwriting too, like their songwriting is just through the roof for me. And like I just, the songwriting and storytelling is a really, really big aspect for me.
Mhm.
And then that kind of leads us into the third question, because I mean, some people don't know, but like Maggie does have a couple of good songs out there, and like Eyes on You, and Slow Down. Those are definitely my two favorites. I've been
Oh,
listening to
good.
I've been listening to those on repeat a few times before this interview. Um, and then obviously with my like, it just, the creative process for artists is so different. And it's just cool to always ask this question, because some people start with the songwriting and then form the melodies later, or some people start with the melodies and then build the songwriting off of that. So kind of getting into the third question is, what is your creative process like when it comes to writing a song and just getting everything together? Like, how does that all kind of come about for you?
Well, it was a huge like culture shock for me going out to LA because I had never been in like studios before, and I was thrown into a studio and was introduced to all these songwriters who always start with melodies, and I don't know how they do it because my process, and it's always been like this, is I'll grab my guitar and play a chord or two, and then just like have something written on the paper, and then I'll form the melodies after. But it's always been like the guitar and lyrics at the same time.
Yeah.
So then the melodies, and then now that I get my songs like professionally, like recorded and everything, I'll send them to my friend Tyler, who does all the production and everything, and he'll kind of like build a song around it, and then we'll send it back and forth until it's perfect. But yeah, it's just the lyrics come first for me because I feel like the guitar, when I play it, it like I hear a story in the chords.
Right.
So whatever chords I play, like there's a story somewhere hidden,
Mhm.
and it just like comes out.
No, that's awesome. And like it's the same thing for me too, is when it comes to like the creative process and everything. The writing comes first for me.
Mhm.
People know back in 2018, I lost my grandfather unexpectedly, and that's how I wrote my first song, was Back to When. I feel like I shout him out every episode, but he's my brother, Nathan Vasquez. Um, Recorded the song for me after I sent them the lyrics and stuff like that. But I sat down and I just like emotions and stuff is really where a lot of my songwriting comes from. And just when I wrote that in 2 hours. I wrote that whole song in 2 hours. And it just the song, the lyrics just came to me, and like I let my emotions go. But I wrote it all down first, and then eventually like I sent it over to him, and then he kind of got the guitar and started playing, and he already had this melody kind of in his head that he had already like played on the guitar and stuff like that and wrote down, just but he couldn't find any words to actually go with it. So it's just kind of cool because he was always kind of like starting with the chords and then writing to the chords, but then like for me, like it's the writing and then the melody. So like it's kind of cool how we kind of both like came together on that, because I started with the whole writing process and he started with the whole melody process. So it's really just always cool and unique how different artists have their creative processes.
Yeah. That song, just gotta say, I love it so much.
Thank
Really,
you.
you spoke from your heart. I really, really enjoyed listening to that.
No, I appreciate, like, honestly, like it's always a hard thing for me to talk about sometimes, because like I'm an emotional person, so like I'll tear up if I talk too much about it. But it always means the world to me so much that people really take the time and listen to the lyrics behind it and understand like what everything was that was going through my head, and just everything like that. So the people that really support that, just it means the world to me. So just thank you for saying that, and it means a lot to me.
Yeah, thanks.
Um, so getting into the fourth question, always a hard question. I always bring it up. I like to give artists a heads up because I don't like to throw people under the bus. Like it's a hard question. And especially last year with the pandemic and everything, like and just not even with the pandemic, like even through music, like it doesn't matter if you're in country, it doesn't matter if you're in pop, R&B, rock. There's hundreds of artists, thousands of artists like coming up every year and trying to make a name for themselves. And especially last year with TikTok coming around, and then people still going on Instagram and stuff to promote their music, and new artists coming out there. There's a lot of new artists, and like it's hard to keep track of everyone. And at the end of the day, like some people know who they are, but then some people are still trying to carve their path and figure out who they are as an artist. But I guess at the end of the day, is my question is what makes Maggie B Maggie B?
I haven't been thinking about this question. I put it out of my head. What makes me me? It's really hard, like you said, with TikTok now because there are so many artists,
Mhm.
and like I have to snap back and tell myself like there's so many people in every career, like doctors, nurses, stuff like that. So it's like you just fit in wherever you fit. But for me, growing up, like I never told anyone that I did music until like I posted it one day on my Instagram. But like my whole like growing up going to school, I kind of like isolated myself because I felt like I didn't really like fit in. I felt like awkward around people. So I had like my group of friends that I've had for like years, but then I just didn't fit in like elsewhere in middle school, high school. So like I would just sit in my room and like isolate myself and write songs like all night, like literally for hours, just like write songs, but not trying to be anybody. Like it just was natural. I wasn't like, oh, I want to sound like Lauren Hill or something like
Right.
that. Um, and it was just like all honesty in the words that I was writing. Cause like I kind of like when I talk to people, I don't really like tell them everything. Like I'll just, hi, how are you? Nice to see you, blah, blah, blah. But my music is where I'm like completely honest. And
Yeah.
so that's like my happy spot. And so I guess like what makes me me is just that I didn't try to be anybody else. And that
Right.
I really
And
was.
no, and that's awesome because honestly, at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, you are gonna get compared to some artists, but and that's for any artist. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter how you sing or how you write. Like at the end of the day, someone's gonna find something and they're gonna compare you to someone. But as long as you know who you are at the end of the day, that's the part that matters the most. Is you know you're Maggie B, you know what you like to do, what will connect with the people that are listening to your music and stuff like that, and you're just being honest, and that's the greatest part about the whole music process is just the people that are honest and know who they are and kind of what they want to do. And I've interviewed the almost 30 artists now. I'm still trying to process that through my head, but from all different genres, from rap to country to pop. And honestly, I mean, a lot of them they're all unique and they're all in their different ways. And like, I know who they are. And it's just like, I mean, obviously, when we get to the last question and then you start singing, people will understand what I'm about to say right now is honestly, Maggie's B's vocals are probably one of the best vocals I've heard in a long time. And no, it's just it's like when I heard you live on TikTok a couple weeks ago is kind of how I reached out and stuff. Is like it just hit me different, and a lot of artists don't give me chills like when I listen to their songs, but like you did a mashup and it was like 4 or 5 different songs, and like it gave me chills, and like it was just your vocals hit different, but like it's crazy because I could listen to like 100 artists in a row, and like you could be like in there somewhere, like in that like set up in that playlist, and like I'd know, like I'd be like, oh, that's Maggie B. Like it's just your no, your because your vocals are just it's I don't know what it is about them, but like they're very unique, and like I can just like so for me, like that's kind of like how I tell like who you are as an artist, because like it's just like your vocals are so different.
Thanks, Stacey. Oh my goodness, that literally warms my heart.
No, of course. But like it's cool because so many people have their unique styles and stuff like that. Um, Kind of getting into the last question because I want to hear some live music from you, obviously, is like what are your goals as an artist? Obviously you said you're kind of doing like the obviously you were in the contract, but you're out now and you're kind of just doing your own thing and writing songs and stuff like that. But where do you kind of want to go with your music? Like what else can we expect down the road from you? And just like what are some of your like short-term and long-term goals at the moment?
So I want to like, I want to be an independent artist. I kind of like have told myself that I want to be the biggest independent artist
Mhm.
out there. Um, and so in like short term, I guess I want to like next year be on tour, like at least like a little tour, like a few shows,
Mhm.
and have a bigger fan base. It's really not about the numbers to me, but it's more of like how many people I can connect to because I love doing live, like
Mhm.
love shows. And just putting out a bunch of songs. And I have an EP coming out next year. So I want to put out that and then a few videos with it and just yeah, work on connecting with more people.
No, that's awesome. And like I really connect with that because like that's what I want to do. I just want to connect with more people. I like and for me at the end of the day, like you just said, it's not about the numbers, it's not about the fame. Like I love doing the music and I love if I can write a song and produce it up and get it out there and it helps someone down the road, like that's what makes me happy and that's what gets me at the end of the day.
Yes.
Um and it's just music's just such a powerful thing and like I have some songs that are in the works right now, and like those are some of my short-term goals and long-term goals too, is to get some music out there. I at least want to get 1 to 2 more songs out, hopefully by the end of the year. And it's fast coming, and I'm hoping I can get them out there. But then next year too, I really want to like vamp up the interview series and kind of just see what else is out there and what else I can kind of really do to elevate myself a little more and just connect with more people. So I definitely really get what you're saying with kind of all that stuff.
Yeah. You do
So
such a good.
yeah, thank you. So that's kind of all the questions I have. This is my always my favorite part of the interview, whether it's listening to someone's song or having them play live. So I'm gonna kind of give the floor to you, and hopefully people understand once Maggie starts singing, they understand what I was saying a little while ago. And I will just kind of let you take the floor with everything.
Thanks. Okay. What? My doctor's calling me. So this is my new single, Eyes on You, which was on 102.5 yesterday, which is so cool. Which I grew up listening to that station, so that's fun. My first country song. I can't count the times I should have walked away. Got home late last night. You kept me out too late. You looked pretty lonely at the bar. Something called me shouldn't start. I wonder if we'll go too far. And I got my eyes on you. Whoa. And you want to know that I can't remember a time that I wanted someone so bad. It's true. Whoa. Shouldn't have got so comfortable. That you'll never want me like I want you. It's a little Eyes on You.
No, that is awesome. Like, I don't know what it is. I just that it get like your vocals. I don't know what it is about them. Like, I can't pinpoint it, but like, it's definitely easily one of my favorite vocals that I've heard in a long time. Like, easily. No, of course. And like, for people that don't know, I mean, no one knows this, but like, I sent you a song the other night, when we were talking and stuff like that, and like, just how you put that together so quick and kind of just like did that. Like, I know it was super rough draft. It was like almost like 1 a.m. in the morning, but it was just like your vocals just like hit different. And like, I feel like you could cover, like, it doesn't matter if it's country, if it's pop, you could cover anything, and like, you make it your own, which is like really unique. And that's what I see in you as an artist. Like, you can make anything your own just because the way your vocals are, it's just so unique.
Thank you. You're such a hype man. Oh my goodness.
No, I'm just telling it how it is. Like, this was definitely one of my more favorite interviews, just because you're I sound like a broken record at this point, but your vocals are just so unique. And people definitely need to go check out her full song. It's out on Spotify, Apple Music, right? Probably everywhere that you can find music, I'm assuming. Eyes on You by Maggie B. And then kind of before I do my little outro, just like, what are your social handles? Like, where do you mostly promote all your music and stuff like that? And where can people find you?
Not on TikTok. My TikTok's really bad. It's really embarrassing. My Instagram is Maggie B __, and that's like the only social media I really use.
Okay.
My
Oh.
YouTube, Maggie B __. You know what? My TikTok's Maggie B __. And yeah,
No,
just that.
no, that's awesome. Like, people, like, you definitely have to go and check out Maggie B. She is super, super talented. She definitely has some more stuff in the works, like she said. And there's definitely going to be a lot of cool things coming. And she's definitely on the rise. How she doesn't already have like a platinum album out, I don't know. But at the end of the day, just keep following Maggie's journey, and we will just stay tuned for more music from you, Maggie. I appreciate you taking the time to do this, and it was fun.
Oh, thank you literally so much. I had a lot of fun.
No, of course, I did too. That concludes another episode of the Spotlight series. You all know the drill. Sundays, 1 p.m. Eastern. You can catch all my interviews, Facebook and YouTube, and then I post little clips on Instagram. And I will see y'all next week. Thanks for tuning in.